Welcome to special parent orientation / town hall meeting. The reason why you are here, normally we only do parent orientation for new incoming parents, but this year everyone needs to go through it because the procedure, the platform for learning is very different than before. So I'd like to welcome all of you, whether you are on site or whether you are online meeting with us. So thank you for taking time out. Before I go on, I'd like to introduce our teacher. Now, this session is mainly for 4th to 8th grade students, parents from that grade level. Our 4th and 5th grade homeroom teacher is Miss Bethany Lee Lorraine back there. And then our 6th to 8th grade homeroom teacher is Miss Calhoun back there. And then our Mandarin teacher is Mr. Wan. And then our art and social study teacher is Miss Erica Heisinger behind the sound booth. And I'm Bonnie Ho. Now, I sent out the roadmap about at least 15 days ago, talking about possibility. We divided into red, yellow, and green, different zone, depending on where the pandemic is leading us. So 15 days ago, myself and the staff were quite confident that we could come on site to have in-house study learning. But ever since I sent that communication out, I received quite a number of communication from the parents. And you are a very important part of the community. And the way I propose on the roadmap is based on a lot of study from different government organizations and also
Mrs. Ho, you are muted.
Okay, sorry for the audience. I was muted. I've been talking. Thank you for reminding me. So anyway, I was very, very proud of the student because of the maturity, because of the email that I received from them expressing their thoughts and their opinion. And I also am very value for the parents who wrote me email and also engaged with me on a phone conversation to talk about what we should be doing come next fall, which is less than a month from now. And so 15 days later, within these 15 days, I had numerous meetings with our staff, our teacher. I continue to the research work with all these government organization, with health organization, with Board of Education, with CPS. Now I want to hear from you. I did not, those who already expressed your opinion, that's fine. Those, if you want to talk about your thoughts, now is your time. So if you are online, you could unmute yourself and let me know you want to talk. If you are here, please raise your hand and I'll come to you. So I'd like to hear from you because this is a collective decision. Now it's very interesting. A minute ago I said that the decision sometimes is not on us because there's a big element that is out of our control. It's only under that circumstances we are praying to make a wise decision, to have wise discernment of what to do. Now, from an educational standpoint, teaching face-to-face is the best platform, whether they are preschool, particularly for preschool, and even for 8th grader. We miss a lot if we don't have education in the classroom, but we have to balance it out. In another word, what kind of price are we paying for the product? Like the best product would be in-house teaching, right? So we need to think about that. So if you have any thoughts, you want to share it, let me know. The Peters.
Good evening, everyone, both online and in here. I have a son of mine who's in the 8th grade, and I'm also a teacher both at University of Chicago and the City Colleges. I think especially for, now I have to be kind of selfish now because my child is in 8th grade. I definitely think there has to be two options, definitely an online option and a face-to-face option. I know what some students are doing because I teach chemistry, and one of the things that we're doing is that we have hybrid for lectures, and then for the labs that physically have to come on campus. So I still think that going to a hybrid system, at least the kids need to be in front of teachers. I don't know if it's like 4 days a week, but I would suggest, especially for the 8th graders, the more time that they can spend in front of the teachers may be possible. Maybe a system could be work on, let's say, Mondays, maybe they don't come to school, they're used for cleaning or hybrid, and then Tuesday through Friday that they should be in classes. Because I firmly believe, especially at the stage of their career, that they need to get as much in-person classroom instruction as possible. And also as they develop their social skill set also, I think that'll be very imperative for them, especially as they transition onward.
Thank you. Echo, Mrs. Peter, or no, I don't want to get in your fight.
Hello, I'm Chevalier Gilmore. My son will be in 4th grade, and I kind of actually agree. I think that there should be some face-to-face, but I also feel like there should be some balance of online. I think the kids really miss each other, and I think it also helps to have like that in-person competition to have some type of incentive to keep going and I guess stay positive through the whole situation. But at the same time, just because things are happening and rising here and there, it's like you never know. So just for the safety of our kids, I think that I think that it should be open to do both. I'm open for both.
I agree with like in-person instruction, but my concern is that wearing face masks, even for myself, right? I have a hard time breathing. Can kids stay on with the mask the whole entire day? That's my concern about like, the safety issue.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wayne. I had a son who will be 1st grade and a daughter in 5th grade. I think it should be two options, one in class and one not. E-learning. That's on the educational side. On my personal side, I had a coworker who died back in April because of this. I got two coworkers in the hospital for 3 months. I don't think they're gonna ever come back. I have 4 more people who are still at home for about 4 months until today. They still not have been to work. So personally, for me, safety is my first concern. I'm willing to have my kids do e-learning for 1 year. If they couldn't catch up, I will have them repeat the grades again. But that's just my opinion. But everybody have to do what's best for the family.
Hi, I'm Lee. I have a daughter, well, we have a daughter that's going to 7th grade and another one that's going to 3rd grade. I actually echo what Wayne is saying. Education is important, but I don't mind holding them back for a year. That's what needs to be done. So, but I really have to say that the teachers were really doing a really good job with their learning. And for my two daughters, to me, there was no difference. Educational-wise, they were learning. Perhaps they missed their time with their friends. But I think with the e-learning, to see their friends offering school and encourage them to call. So that's just my opinion. So,
I would just add a little, as far as the social aspect, I think sometimes we could also, we did arrange.
Into the. Okay, one moment. Admitting someone. Okay. There we go.
Okay. I was just with the social aspect. I think with the e-learning, yes, it's a little bit difficult to have that, but sometimes we do arrange these type of not necessarily play dates, but like activities that they can actually play outside in an open area.
Mhm.
So that's a way that they can engage with their friends. If e-learning is, I think the social aspect is important. So but there are other ways that we engage them.
I just wanted to add that the school can offer both ways. I think that's the ultimate answer, but if financially it's not possible, I understand the school might have to pick one way or the other. But I would still think that e-learning is an option.
Thank you. Okay. I have I feel like e-learning did really well last year. He thrived off e-learning because we didn't have a lot of the distractions. However, he's the only one at home. My concern is, being a nurse, my concern is, are the kids gonna wear masks all day? And how can you make a kid wear a mask? Because even when we go places, I tell them, I wear these like 12 hours a day, so. And it's hard for me to keep it on at work, and I have to, so to have tell him to keep it over your nose, because it doesn't work if it's not over your mouth and your nose and all that. How are we gonna make them do that? Because I have a newborn at home, and so that's what I'm concerned about, him being with all these other children, and then we don't know where these children are at, and he comes home, and if he was to become sick, then that was my baby in danger.
Hello, my name is Tenda, and I have my daughter will be coming into the 6th grade. My only concern is most of the companies are opening back up, and we can't keep working remotely like for almost a year. So I've tried to talk to my boss, and he was like, "That's okay, but we can only do it for so long." And they would also want like documentation stating that you'll be continuing to do instruction remotely for how long. So the concern is we can't go on for a whole year just people working remotely. They have to come in maybe twice a week or 3 times a week.
Hi, my name is Gina, and my daughter is third grader, and she's a gymnast. And they do gymnastics for 4 hours a day. And the girls, pretty younger, like they're how old, like 5 and up. And during the intense practice, they do wear masks, and they're actually good at following the rules. So I think, in my opinion, they can, with a good guidance, they can actually wear the masks and be at school.
Thank you very much for all of your thoughts. And I think each one of you represent a number of population, numbers of opinions. You might voice out, you might not, but I think your thoughts has been spoken. Now, some very good insight. If we have a choice, in-house is the best. We have educator here. I'm an educator, our teachers are educators. And definitely when I study all these government documents, the Board of Education is one of the organization I also tap into. So, but the situation is we have to balance safety. And then for example, will we be able to successfully have the kid wear the mask at all times? We will try our best if we are doing it on site. But can I guarantee? I cannot guarantee. Because we are not dealing with one child, right? So, like I said, 15 days ago, we were quite confident that we could go back. And then we will be landing on the yellow zone, and then we will do all those calculations. We purchase like extra materials and PPE and get them into position. We're not quite there yet, but but we have planned in all the these and that. But 15 days later, as the progression of the situation, I know Illinois new cases is climbing back up to more than 1,000 per day. We are almost moving closer and closer to phase 3 instead of phase 4. If we are not, I cannot predict what it is going to be like in 1 week. So, but then it is very difficult for us to not have a clear direction. This is the first time myself as a leader, as a principal, that when my staff asked me, I was not able to provide an answer for them. And it's very irritating to the staff, if no clear direction, they don't know which way to prepare. But the thing is, it's really tough, and we are dealing with people, and I need to hear everyone's, and not only hear you, but also feel you, how you feel. And I have used the term, the fear index is really high. The email that I received from individual students, from one angle, I'm really proud of them that the teacher did not ask them to do it. It's vacation time, but they wrote me persuasive essay stating their thoughts, their feeling about coming back. Now, so far, 100% of those emails were asking if I could allow them to do e-learning. And then they would promise that they will do a good job. Now, these are not like bad students and trying to hide behind the screen. These are top students. And then I think they work very objectively, stating why they think e-learning is the way to go for a period of time until the situation is better. For those who came in late, I'm going to repeat myself because I was not recording. That they were saying that they should be responsible citizens, and then they're concerning about their family member, and they cannot be the one to channel any virus home. So they have stated very organized their thoughts in such a way to communicate to me. I'm really, really thankful for students who's really stepping up to become mature individual and mature citizen. So if I have enough students having this kind of concern, then having them come on site is definitely affecting them academically and mentally and physically. And also parents, the index, the fear index or the concern index was also very high. I'm not saying that, okay, the decision, I value your decision, but in the end, I have to make a final decision, right? Because I'm ultimately responsible, either go or no go. But I try to listen and I try to, because right now it's not just dealing with logistics, how to make it work. I am getting in touch with numbers of people's feeling, emotionally how they feel. That is also, that's invisible sometimes, but that really affects how they operate the day. So a number of you say that, you know that on-site is good, but there's a but. Also voicing out that if we could do hybrid, like having on-site and online. I personally, I know that the logic is you cut down the possibility of being affected by the virus by 50% if you only come here 2 days a week. But then the amount of work for the teacher and to prepare and to clean everything, that is tremendous. Even now, even with this grade going e-learning, I still need to hire additional cleaning janitorial staff, which I do not know where the money is coming from, because the tuition definitely would not cover that, right? So then there are things that we need to consider. And I also consult the teacher. It will be very tough on them if we need to do on-site and e-learning. And then switching back and forth, I think we are going crazy with the calendar, with the schedule, and then the kid would be easily fall into, in between gaps. So I think I would propose a simpler way to deal with it, knowing that this one day will be over. This pandemic did tremendous negative impact across the board, globally. We lost things, we lost life, we lost people, and we lost decent, and we lost finance, you lost jobs, right? Totally out of our control. Under these circumstances, how do we make the best out of it? Definitely education cannot be paralyzed. We need to continue to provide quality education and at the same time be responsible for everyone. So after listening to all of you, if my proposal is not quite in tune with what you desire, at this moment, I would say I cannot do anything about it. No offense, I agree with everyone. Everyone's insight and discernment actually are very sound. There's no wrong opinion here, because all of them are very, very good. As right now, it's like, can we afford the product? The answer is, after calculation, I'm afraid we cannot afford the product of doing like half and half. So I propose for the peace of mind for our students and for majority of parents, I actually received quite a number of communication for the past 15 days. And for the safety of our kids, I propose this grade level from 4th to 8th will go e-learning. Based on very, very encouraging feedback from some parents telling me that they have compared our e-learning with on-site learning, they realize that there's not visible or obvious learning lost for the past few months. I know that there will be, I don't think it's exactly the same. The social aspect, the fun of like meeting friends, our teacher also suffer because not everyone is good with like not meeting with the kid. I have a teacher actually having a tough time because she is not able to actually, so to speak, touch her kid. It's just like through the screen. It's never the same. And sometimes it's very hard for the teacher that, especially those who really want to care about the student. We still do it online, but so I am presenting to you the game plan for this grade level. I'm very confident in this grade level because they did an excellent job. I had people, not our parent, one of our parents told me, former parent was saying that how good the education here and how good we did with e-learning. So those are, I don't think you need me to go on with this kind of testimony because you experience it, you know that, right? I pray that this day will be over soon, then we could back on campus. The most is, the worst scenario is we lost 1 week, but it's better than lost life. During this period of time, 2 of our board members were tested positive. We only have 9 board members, and I'm one of them, right? Out of 9, 2 of them tested positive. And then we have former staff also tested positive. We are thankful that it did not happen when we were in this building. So the virus is real. Precaution needs to be taken for the sake of young life. So I know that if we go e-learning, some parents will have tough time. Like, how am I going to handle supervision at home if I cannot, work from home? And even if you work from home, you technically are working. You're not supposed to be doing other things, right? So that I understand. I think last year also, parent was caught by like no preparation, almost like, okay, we announced it Friday, okay, Monday we go e-learning. We stumble along and we put it together. So I feel your feeling, I do. And you represent a number of our parents across the board. So I guess we just have to deal with the case one by one. So we will go e-learning with the 4th to 8th grade. And then for 3rd and below, like kindergarten to 3rd grade, we will be, if we say this group will go e-learning, they will also go e-learning. But we are trying to buy time. If the situation allow us, we want to gain at least a few weeks of time for them to be on site, to build rapport and to build authority and to build routine before they will go on the screen. We were successful is because we had months of time that the teacher already built rapport and respect and authority and the routine. Imagine a junior K 4-year-old promoting to kindergarten, already a big transition, but never met the teacher. It's very hard for the teacher to engage the child. But even though we are doing like maybe a few weeks for them to be on site, but if the situation suddenly go downhill very quickly, then we don't have a choice. We wanted to, but if the situation become dangerous, then we will say, okay, even though it is hard to engage, we might, not having that privilege to meet. But if everything goes slow, the development doesn't go downhill that much, we like to preserve a little bit time for the younger grade to engage. But 4th to 8th, they know their teacher really well, and they are very, very independent. And then for our preschool, we most likely will cut down to 50% of students compared to healthy year to be able to attend to them. So, but we are not talking about preschool now, we're talking about this so far. Any question before we move forward? Okay, now, if we are going to do e-learning, then the rest of the time, we'll focus on how to run a successful e-learning instead of how to run school on site. Of course, either way, we are prepared to do that. But right now, we're going to focusing the rest of the time to just talking about e-learning before I have them come on board. So one of the I say, how am I going to, encourage a child to wear the mask? Like I said, I cannot promise you anything. I mean, I cannot guarantee you anything. If your child will still be from time to time come on campus, maybe, right? And I cannot guarantee. But one thing is, I could give you my promise. I will pledge my promise as the principal to lead my team well and to love your child the way that we love our own. I'm just giving you an example because we did not know that we will go e-learning, so we prepare both ways. So we have handmade all this beautiful, they are like, she took time to select the fabric, and some of them are princess, some of them are dinosaur or Superman. And then we have different sizes from 3-year-old all the way up to 8th grade. Because I see some of the kids, they wear the mask and then it keep falling down below the nose. So then these are not quite done yet. We still need to do the strap right there. But we designed this very, very beautifully, and then she came up with a design that is kind of like 3-dimensional, and then when you talk, it doesn't touch your mouth. I had one of those, she made me one. And so then, because I observe our kids, they like to show off what they're wearing. But then we are on uniform. So then they wear it underneath. But then when in school, when the teacher is not looking, they will just like flip up the uniform, say, look what I have to do. And they will try to compare with each other. So I'm trying to recreate this. They don't have to hide this. Then they would love to show off. So then instead of like, oh, I have to wear my mask, it will be something that they want to show off. So this is the kind of care we put into, because we want them to, like, no one wants to wear a mask. And I think I feel bad that a young kid needs to wear a mask. So let's make it less painful. Let's make it something that, okay, we could embrace it. The virus is here, so we need to live our life. Let us embrace it and let's dance with it. Okay, instead of beating down, beaten up by the virus. So I cannot guarantee, but I pledge my promise. We continue to love the kids because they are entrusted to us. They are precious gifts to us. So we care for them, not only academically, but spiritually and mentally. So now I'm going to ask the teacher to come up here to talk about how to conduct e-learning. So we did last year, and then in terms of the curriculum, I think we are fine. Is there something that we need to touch up? And Ms. Lee Lorraine will.
Before, I'm Mrs. Lauren, the 4th and 5th grade homeroom teacher. But I also teach math and science to the 6th through 8th graders. So something we were talking about and trying to figure out, okay, how can we do e-learning better than in the spring? So some expectations that we'll have for every student every day. So school starts at 8:30, just like normal. And we ask, and I know we'll need your help as parents, that kids are already fed, they are dressed for the day and awake, because we definitely had some slow starts there, but we want it to kind of just be part of the routine that this is when we start. And also a huge thing that we want students to make sure that they have computers where the sound and the screen works. Because we had some students who said that their audio wasn't working or their cameras weren't working. And that really took a lot away from the educational experience when we felt like we couldn't really see them and hear them fully. So if that's something that you maybe don't have at home, if you know that the computer that your child is using doesn't have either of those elements, please talk to Ms. Ho or someone at Point to make sure, okay, let's figure out a way where you can get what you need to do the best. Also, these rules, having your camera on and not eating, will not just be for my classes, but also the same exact rules apply for Ms. Calhoun's classes, Mr. Wen, who teaches Mandarin, and Ms. Hazinga, who teaches art and social studies. So it'll be the same throughout the whole day for your students. Also, we ask that you find some kind of quieter corner in your home, whether it's a different room or not, that students know, oh, that's where I go. I'm in school, and we have plenty of resources such as paper and pencils and things like that in that spot ready to go every day so that we don't have to waste any time grabbing materials. And yeah, Ms. Calhoun wants to come up and kind of talk about materials and more things like that. Also, we'll be going over a lot more of these kinds of things, especially when we're ways and kind of get started.
Everybody knows me, I'm Ms. Calhoun. And one of the things that I require, that all of us require, is that all of their materials are with them when they sign on each morning. So for art, there will be an art box. For math, there will be pencils and rulers. In my class, there will be a notebook and pens inside because we do a lot of notes. So they'll need to be able to maintain the notes. They'll also receive, what is that called? Oh, inserts, sorry. I'm trying to do this twice, my head is not here. They'll have inserts that will go into the notebook, and these are things that they can refer back to. So it's like posters that you would have on the wall, but they're in the notebook. So we'll be able to use those. And they'll pick up all the stuff. All the practice will be ready to go home with the students. And they will be able to have the schedule on the front and all the login information. So all that will be there. If you look at the wall, that's a snapshot of what you'll see on Google Classroom. So in Google Classroom, this thing, in Google Classroom, all the assignments will be there. And there's a section called to-do list. And in the to-do list, it'll give the assignment, what's been turned in, what's been graded, and what's missing. And it'll all be in one place. So you'll be able to see that. The links to what we are doing with the students will be in there. To cover some of the computer component, we're still doing the research. They're still doing Google Slides. They're still doing videos. They're doing all these things that require them to work with the computer inside our classes. So they're not going to lose that. What they won't have is coding from us. But other than that, they'll be doing a lot of the computer work. The writing. They will be giving us their information electronically. We did this in the spring and it worked out very well. So I didn't send any paper home. Everything was online. So they did their answers online, they did essays online, they did their poetry online, they did everything right there. Anything that was a project that needed to be seen by me, they did a photograph of it and they sent that to me and I sent the critique right back to them. So it really worked out well. We hope to have that and more this time around. We've added some other things into the program that will help us advance the students. So Ms. Hazinga.
Arts for K-3, do history for 4th-8th. And I just want to focus on art since that's trickier to do using a computer. So students are more than welcome to use whatever materials they have at home already. And it doesn't always have to be art materials. I had a student who used food to make sculptures every week, and it was great. But I'm going to grab this. Containers for each individual student with art materials that I will provide. It will be a very basic amount of art supplies. So there's not going to be clay in here because that's just really tricky to have enough in here. But like I said, you are more than welcome to use different materials that you have at home. And these will be ones that can come back to school with the student when we have class back as a whole group in the school. And I don't know if Mr. Wen had anything. I'll pass it over to him.
Hello, parents and students. I'm Mr. Wen. I'm a Chinese teacher from third grader to eighth graders. Uh, uh, my, my first class the first time will be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 8 in the morning, 9:30, and 4th from 10:10 to 10:50. There will be no recording video. All is 100% face-to-face contact. For the 40, 40 minutes, 60% will be instruction, another 60% will be student project, student activities. There will be one assignment per week, and all classes are recorded. I would say equipment, the mic and is extremely important because for we mainly communicate working mic and also software requirement. We use Google Classroom, Google Documents, Google Slides, and Gmail. And required material, we use one notebook, writing worksheet. Uh, the material and for my class, I require parents to have open communication with me. So in case if student absent or missing assignment or failing grade, I will send you email or even call you. Yep, that's all. Any questions? Nope. Nope.
Like teacher. Any question? Okay. Now, just want to also mention the class hours 8:30 to 2, just like before. But this time, there's some alteration. Because last time when we were doing that, some of the subjects were struggling. They were not able to have enough face-to-face lessons. Some of them were pre-recorded. Some of them, so it was very, very hard. And then I realized that we were pushing too hard to limit it. For one thing, we don't want students on the screen for such a long time because it was interactive. So they were on the screen from 8:30 to 4 to 2, except if, there's like in between time for them to do some project. So this time when we were evaluating, there's two major things that we are going to reform. One is we are going to have one line, one link for all the process, one link throughout the whole duration of e-learning. Instead of each subject will have their own link, and then the kid will say, I was there, but they were in the wrong classroom, right? So there'll be no more wrong classroom, the whole year, one link, and there's no reason for you to miss or go to the wrong class. And it will be easy for parents to track, right? Another thing is we will not be using paper schedule book. Since we are using online, we're going to train our students to use Google Calendar. And then later on, we'll show you just a clip. We're not going to show the whole thing, but we will send it home we will be using Google Classroom as the platform to send home homework and then for you to chat. So that would be a major platform. And then in order to fit everything in that 5 hours, not counting lunch, we decided not to offer physical education and computer science. There's going to be sacrifices. And then out of all the subjects, we chose these two. But that doesn't mean that your kid will become couch potato. They need exercise. So we will be requiring them to do exercising and then require you to take picture or sibling to take picture or video showing that your child actually has been doing exercise. So there will be like log and then telling them what to do. But we are not going to use class time to have this exercise. They will do it, off hour. And then for computer science, we will compensate because they've been dealing with the computer all day long. It will be integrated into the core subject when we do this. And then there might be supplemental, and I might be able to come up with manpower to assist the teacher to do special projects throughout the year regarding computer science. So these are the sacrifices that we need to make so that we don't kill everybody. So I don't want to add the duration of learning. We have casualty on the teachers or the staff. So I want them to love learning, continue to, having the joy in learning and love in teaching. Okay? So another thing is I want to emphasize, I know several teachers mentioned that I need to re-emphasize. You must provide a device that has a workable camera and workable mic. It's absolutely very important. If you have difficulty, financial difficulty, I am not a wealthy person, but I'm willing to help you out. Come to me and we'll figure something out, okay? Now, August 28th, before the start of the school year, our staff are very committed. They work, So we will be preparing a lot of material for you to pick up and for your kids to come pick up. They need to be on site because the teacher would need to talk with them. I think that is very important. We will be following all the safety procedure that is on the map, of the roadmap, and we don't have time to go through this today, but then all of those will become clips of video. It will be gradually will be posted on the website, and then so that you could check regarding the difference between wearing a face mask and a face shield, which we shield and then maybe both, depending on the situation. All those procedure will be posted. We will be producing clips and then posted on our website for you to look at. So the time that when we need students to come back on campus, you could review those procedures and then prep them. Even the way they walk is no longer just back-to-back lineup. It has been 6 feet away from each other. You proceed when the person in front of you proceeds to the next arrow. So things like that, okay? But when the time comes, I think those we could handle it like using the website. Okay, any question? Yes. Two. Yes, the teacher mentioned that they will be giving, everything will be in that supply thing, if not earlier. Next week, it might be later next week or middle of next week, all of our teachers will be sending home their letter. And then I'm sure that they will mention some of the important things on the letter to you. So there will be communication between now to the first day of the school, which is 31st. 28 is the Friday before that day. Yes. Okay, that's wonderful. Let me repeat the question for the online parents. One is, will there be opportunity that we will gather like physical in-person type of gathering, but with safety precaution. The possibility is there. I believe Mr. Jha also mentioned that they themselves organize some, may not be a large crowd, but they kind of like gather together a small group to provide the student some way of relating to each other to upkeep with the social emotional aspect. We will look into the possibility. And not the second thoughts that Mr. Peter was talking about is maybe he could offer his expertise and along with his graduate student to provide us with online coding. That is hallelujah. That is very good. We also are concerned about after school. There will be no more, most likely after school almost non-existent because there's no way they're going to come back. So what are we going to do online? Coding is something that in my mind, because I think with with computer science, the more obvious loss is the coding for the upper grade. But if we could line up like graduate student or professor from UC to help us out, we could have online coding. And I will talk with you offline, but I appreciate your offer. Any other thoughts, opinion, question? Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's very good. Regarding workload or homework load, I think the teacher actually is aware of that, and we've been trying to space out. But then there are actually projects that given out that they don't have to like hand in the homework right away, given them a period of time. But sometimes students procrastinate. So then they procrastinate to a point that, oh, two big project, one like back to back. I'm not saying that there's a situation with my daughter, but we are aware of that, and the teachers are actually working on trying to space that out. And then I also would suggest that if possible, during off time weekend, take your kids to outside where there's greenery, more nature area to it's better for their health.
We're all aware of students spending too much time online. And I do understand the first time we did it, there was a lot of, growing pains because I was on sabbatical, so I didn't have those issues last year. But I saw with my son the same thing happen. So I think as the teachers get more involved and becomes more a way of life, I think you'll see the workload will start to adjust. And like Principal Ho said, one of the problems, a lot of students sometimes they wait until the last minute to do it. But definitely, I think as we go along now, I think we'll get a better handle of what we're doing. But school is always work.
Yeah, Google Classroom, you will be very clear about when assignments are being, need to be turned in. So then if your child is lacking in terms of time management, you could coach them and then help them out.
You know how usually like when they were in school, we would have like a list of like the students that's in the classroom, like the parents. If we could have that again this year, just so that we can maybe follow up with some of the parents and maybe do something. Cause like I said, my son's just home alone. It's just him and then my 5-month-old. So he hasn't interacted with anybody for a long time, like 4 months. He was just in that room by himself. And then I finally was like, oh, I'm taking you somewhere. And I let him see my nephews and we social distance, but I let him see my nephews because it's hard for the kids who have no siblings and are just home alone. So if the teachers could just give us like a directory so that at least the kids in their class around their age group, we can talk to amongst each other and go meet at a park or whatever we could do. And then piggybacking on what you guys said, I mean, everyone knows screen time is not good for children to have a long period of, but my son is the master at procrastination. So, I mean, we were going through the same thing as you, I'm like, you got a project, that's true. It's just like, what? So, yeah, so, I mean, I feel like that also helps, like, if we have, the parents can talk, we can tell, like, it's the project due next week, and like, oh, I didn't know. My daughter didn't tell me. Well, now we all know what's going on and we can kind of keep each other informed because it's a difficult time for everyone right now. We're all stressed. We're all dealing with this emotional, physical, mental thing going on. I work in the hospital and it's even crazier there. So if we all can talk amongst each other, I think it'll help us get through this situation.
Parents, unfortunately, the suggestion given actually is the way that a lot of school practice in the past, but we stopped doing that, I think maybe 2 years ago because of security reason. That we had parents using our like class mailing list to do advertisement. I do not want you to be bothered by that, like selling you things. So we caught on that very early on, and then the following year we decided not to, even within your own class. But I think now with events like this, just go to so and so and say, may I have your? If that person is like willing to give it to you, that means there's a trust. But then for us to print that and then send it out, then we have no control with security. Nowadays, really, we have to take a lot of precaution to protect your privacy.
Be a good idea, experience what that had happened before. But I think with our children, they actually get your classmates' emails. And for my daughter, she likes people chatting with them. So I think one thing is to encourage their kids to reach out to their friends and then talk to their parents if it's okay to get their information, do that. One thing that after March that we do was that we figure out in the beginning, especially when we're not allowed to go anywhere, the car still needs to run everything just to keep on. So we decided that weekend we will pick a neighborhood and pick friends that lives in the neighborhood. We just drive by, call them up, roll down the window and just say hi. There were a few times where my daughter would go out of the car and then try to talk to her friends. Funny thing is that when they're face to face, they have nothing to talk. But when they're in front of the computer, they could chat and talk on the phone. So, but that gives them a chance to visit.
Very,
I would just like to say that's a really good idea as far as like the emails and the whole getting the chat. So if anyone has like an 8 to 10-year-old, hit me up. But what our kids did with Tina, we had Roblox. So if anyone has a child with Roblox, like it's super easy to get there. It is, but you know what? If you monitor, I monitor my child all the time, and so when it comes down to like chatting and stuff, they're pretty good with privacy and letting them know like who is this person, let's kick them out. And as long as you stay up on them, like they love Roblox and they don't even do Roblox all the time. They're just chatting and screaming at each other like Wayne said. So roadblocks, and definitely encourage the kids to get the parents' information, because sometimes the parents are busy and they just forget. And so like that, they need support in that aspect too. So the kids have no problem. The kids will definitely give it up. They're like, oh my gosh, let's have a play date. So yeah.
We like the the communication, or the time that you exchange thoughts. This is a very comforting to see. So we could go on and on, but I like to observe the time. So maybe we could just play a few minutes of the clip.
Both of them have the same username and password. You log into the classroom, Google Calendar, same way. All of it is email and your one password and two Google Classroom. We just using the password. You just need to now. He has anything related to Google. Through the day, so you have the Google Classroom app on your phone. But how do you first?
Okay, this it will go on with a lot more detail. We will send you the link, and then it will be also posted on our website in the next week or so. Okay, thank you very much for your time. I have one assignment for you to finish before you leave. We are trying to get you into the routine of not bringing your own pen, because that's one of the things that we do not offer. Sometimes you need to come and sign and write something. You find a paper, and so please, like our tuition does not cover the expenses at all. I was just doing some calculation. In order for us to provide education for your child, each year we had to spend $8,875 for us to provide the education that your child is receiving. But you know that you only pay $5,700, meaning when you enrolled, we already automatically gave you a discount. Now, in the past, even so, we still have parents struggling and then ask us to give financial assistance. It's becoming very difficult. Now, for public school, the calculation is 10,000 to 12,000 per year to provide the type of education for a child that they're giving. And we are using 8,000, and that is the actual figure, exactly how much we spend for each one of the child. Then you say, how did you make ends meet? Now, For one, we have a group of committed staff who are willing to cut a paycheck, who are willing to receive a much smaller paycheck. That is our dedication, that is our passion. But after they cut take a smaller paycheck, it's still not enough. So the other aspect is fundraising. I try not to fundraise amongst our parents. Lately, I mean, for the past year, it might be the first time in history that we've been fundraising among parents because of Project Nehemiah. But on operation, I almost seldom. The only quote-unquote fundraising was Readathon. I don't do any kind of fundraising that has no educational value. I will not sell you cookie. I will not sell you wallpaper. But the thing is, I need you to write, quote, your thoughts about the school, because there's an organization supporting the school asking for evidence of how good the school is. So they want to collect quotes from parents. So in order for us to continue to receive financial support, I'm asking you to write. I'm not asking you to lie. If you don't have anything good to say about the school, that's okay. But if you do, please put it down on paper. The deadline is on the 7th. I have to turn in all this to that organization along with our annual report for continuation of their support. So do me a favor, grab a piece of paper on the seat. Just email me. The reason why I asked you to do it, I know that some of you go home and then you forgot about it, but I trust you, you will do it. So if you want to do it by emailing, actually it's better because I don't have to retype it. But otherwise, you feel free to write it right here, okay? Thank you. And then I will also ask your permission, since I'm asking quite a number of you to write your opinions, I might not submit all of them to this organization, but might be submitting it to other organization or other foundation, or even ask you to write us review in different websites. That will be helpful too. Thank you, appreciate it.
So Julia Mulligan, and Ella and Eva are Ella and Anita do gymnastics together. But I have learned from your school from Eva and Morris. Also, Tommy Lee. Oh, in Tommy is resource full, but I serve on his board of directors. But we are, my children do not go to school, but I love this. And so we have just come to learn. So, and I really respect the difficult choices that you're making. So, I really respect that, you know, you have to weigh so many things. So, thank you for allowing me to be here today to learn and, yeah, well, we would, I mean, I would love for my children to be in education someday and really consider it. No, they're in private school. My husband's professor at the University of Chicago. Yes, yes, yeah. And also lab school has done the same course as you, to have, prioritize younger children in the class, but children at home. My husband was, oh, it's Christian school that is one person, maybe we're gonna think about it. So we are working through. So Mava is going to be second grade. Right? Yeah, this is the issue. So and Elle is going to fourth grade like Harvey. They are had gymnastics together. Yes, thank you for having us. Yes, happy to learn more about it. Very special. So you're on board. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. How am I feeling? Oh, he's the Superman. He and his brother, Jimmy. So I met him through our community. I have been here for 27 years. So, wish you well this year. Oh, well, maybe we talk again sometime. Like I have another son who's going 8th grade as well. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah. So nice to meet you.